You could also tweet at Smooth981. And we've got a live stream up on YouTube. Just search for Smooth981 on there and click subscribe as well so you don't miss out on other live streams. But this morning, my guest is, Rotus is not a guest. It's Rotus on here this morning, this Tech Friday. And Fisayo is joining us as well. Good morning, guest.
Good morning, Zibby. Good to be with you. Fisayo, good morning, Lagos. Good morning.
Good morning,
All
everyone.
right. Good morning. So today is, one day to the elections, and we're talking about technology. And is INEC Tech really ready?
Yeah, I know. That is the question, whether the IREV in particular. I don't think there'll be much focus on BVAS. I think BVAS generally did its job bimodal voter accreditation system. I think that's the whole capturing and everything. The issue, of course, is to make sure that if the three of us that are on this that are speaking to each other now, if three of us votes, and will those votes be reflected? Will they be uploaded immediately to the server? So that is what is at stake for tomorrow. Fisayo, how are you feeling? Are you Fisayo, are you in Lagosian? Are you voting in the gubernatorials, or what's your?
I'm not voting in Lagos. I voted in Ogun State, where I'm from originally. Right. Not voting in Lagos. I'm going back to Ogun to vote on the governorship election as well. But again, I don't have many options in there, so I'm just thinking about it. Maybe I'll just vote in the House of Assembly election and ignore the governors, because all of them seems to be facing the same direction. Anyways, but that's not why we're here. So on the BVAS, right? Again, like you said, the BVAS did its work. Accreditation did it well, right? Taking pictures of people, their fingerprints, if pictures don't work, reading the card readers, reading the PVCs, everything seemed to work until you get to the point when the voting is completed. And of course, you then need to, to take a picture of the results sheet and then upload to the server, right? And I think that the last election was designed that way. I didn't think it was an error. I think it was by design, right? Because if it's not designed that way, right, all the other issues that would then have around changing results wouldn't have happened. So I think it was more like planned, like, okay, in case all else fails, right, this is the way, to ensure that, the outcome we want in certain locations, show up that way.
Speculation.
That's why I said I think it is. I think, right, it is by design. However, the difference between, the last election and this election is that people are aware, right, of that read. So I've seen people, to a large extent, threatening core members, and I feel that's not very nice, right? Threatening core members to say they shouldn't come without a password to upload the result directly on IREV, which again, people are weary that was the failure point in the last election, right? And then it is important that failure point is corrected in this governorship election, because people are really willing to vote as well. And then, of course, the final thing, which again, as I've seen signs of that, is that it's going to be, if all else fails, right, what happens? How will politicians react to it? And I think that what they've been doing before is ensuring that voting doesn't happen in strongholds of the opposition. So they cause violence there. Besides seeing people threatening people, even in Lagos, besides saying campaigns being buckled, besides saying, those things are already happening. There are signs that, okay, if you can't manipulate the election process, it means that you can as well limit the number of people that vote in certain areas, right? And these are things that people need to just be aware and wary of. We saw signs of that even in the last elections, in places where people were stabbed, people were, all of those things were happening. But this time around, I think there's a lot more at stake. Well, there are many things at stake. Governors that want to go back, or governor to install people, to replace them. Just many people are sick, and it's more also local level. Right, so a lot is at stake. Abuja is far; people cannot relate with that. But Lagos, Ogun, your local government, your House of Rep members, all of those issues. I mean, House of Assembly members, all of those issues, they are at stake. That's what that's in this election, and people are willing, just to ensure that yes, they select right people in there. So I guess.
Well said. Well said. Well said. There's a lot at stake. My thing is about turnouts. The turnout? Because with there's two, I guess, mitigating, or rather two factors here that I've seen and noticed. One, the disappointment with INEC technology might lead some people to feel like their votes are not counted, and so they won't come out this time. And then two, the violence, the threat of violence. So are both of those going to be at play here? Or do you think one will factor in more than the other?
I mean, I think both will be at play. No one wants to lose his life for any politician or for any political party, right? So, people will probably just, not turn out, especially in some areas where, violence is almost like a given, right? That is, so I was speaking to a few people that voted for the first time. This is not my first time of voting in an election. I've spoken to many young Nigerians that voted for the first time, because maybe they just turned 18, or this is the first time they are able to find a candidate that can rally all of them around, So spoke to them, and the disappointment in the outcome of the election, something like, well, you people said we should come out to vote. We came out to vote, and see what happened, right? So this disappointment is there, right? So and I spoke to him afterwards, about 2 weeks later, to the next election, like, are you voting in the governorship? But like, yes, he's voting. Like, okay, that what changed? This is Lagos context, right? And I don't want to. Okay, let me not say so that like you see, the thing about Lagos is that, and I think this problem I particularly have about this city is that I think governance has not always been about the people. It's always been about, the establishment, the system that brings the governor or the people in there. So nobody is responsible for the people at all. Nobody cares about them. And that's why you see the arrogance in which, I'll mention his name, Gawat, all of these people that are meant to be media aids to the governor. You see the way they attack citizens on Twitter, on social media platforms, as though they are not meant to serve them, right? The arrogance in which, I tell people, when your car breaks down on Top Line Bridge, it's not an opportunity to be extorted by state machineries. You need help. These are things that people have endured in Lagos for so long, right? Endured in Lagos for so long. And of course, when things happen, people complain of traffic robbery, and then it was quoted that the governor said you should raise up, you should wind up your glass. I don't know if that is true. It is so, it's the arrogance in which governance is done in this city doesn't make any sense at all. So I think that people are particularly frustrated about that. My car has broken down on Tottenham Bridge before, and you need to see the way, last mile, all the state apparatus just want to milk you. And I think that, no, it's help that I need at this point, not you're blocking traffic. My car cannot move. So how do you expect me to stop blocking traffic because the car is not moving?
I get you.
It's annoying. As much as I talk about it gets me angry, right?
Look, Fisayo, trust me, Trust me, when I say you are speaking to my heart. So I'm just going to let you be the one to do this. I don't want, let me not add my own. I want to quickly, because I'm almost out of time. I want to quickly get your thoughts on TikTok. Let's just talk about the UK government banning TikTok on government phones. I think the US is trying to get ByteDance to sell TikTok. China is crying foul. What do you think this inflames tensions between the West and China? What do you make of this? And is TikTok really being used to spy on us?
Anything in China you can't legislate against, right? And I read the story, right, when the EU and of course UK said they're banning TikTok on government devices, which again makes sense, right? Like if there is a backdoor to accessing data, you don't want a a non-friendly government to have access to your government secrets and all of that. So, which makes sense, right? And of course, I read the response by TikTok, like, there's no backdoor right now. Of course, if there's a backdoor, they won't say there is. And they were like, if there's any request like that they would resist it. I just laughed when I saw that line. Like, resist what? Like, who are you resisting? Your CEO will just disappear. Like, these are things that happen regularly in China. Your CEO will just disappear. It had happened to one of the most successful, Alibaba CEO, Jack Ma. So, who is the CEO of ByteDance that this can happen to, right? So again, these are just tensions that are political. Unfortunately, private businesses are now caught in the middle, but it's one of those things that, we know that the future of warfare or diplomacy around is linked around data and data breaches, right? And of course, these are things that these Western governments are trying to a large extent protect. And of course, that's why for me, as much as government is saying that I don't want them on government devices, do I want them on my own device? But personally, again, if my government doesn't trust it, why should I trust it? So again, these are issues that might just come up and might affect the growth of the business, as it were. But guess what? It's not only TikTok that is taking data. Facebook is taking data, Instagram is taking data, right? And then I think also sharing data with regulators in the US or with security agents in the US. So the question is that, why is it okay for Instagram to share with the US and then TikTok can't share with CCP, right? Yeah. Again, it's just some of those international diplomacy things I don't understand.
All right, and let's take a message coming through from WhatsApp. This is from Benga. Benga says, the human element is the most important element in any activity, no matter the sophistication of the technology used. So await what tomorrow brings. And Segi says the word Fisayo, word.
Fisayo preaching to the people. Fisayo, I felt you there. I really did. I'm looking forward to voting tomorrow. I hope I had a smooth process, thankfully, last time, and well, I guess we'll just we'll just hope. I just hope for the best. I hope everybody is safe. I'll just use the last few seconds to just appeal to everybody in Lagos or wherever you're listening to, if you're in another state, if there's a gubernatorial election, please come out and vote. They've just come out and vote. Come out and vote.
All right. Yeah. Oh, well, that's all the time that we have for Business Express this morning. Thank you, Rotus, and thank you, Fisayo, for joining. Thank you for listening and for your messages as well. There's a lot more to come on Smooth Breakfast. Stay with us.